What's up, my fitness family? Guess what? It is the AB 30-day workout challenge, and this can be done at home, and it's for those six-pack abs. This is going to be the modifications for any of those exercises you were like, holy crap, in that introduction video, that there's no way I could possibly do this, Brent. So guess what? I got you taken care of. We got some modifications. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Brent. This is BKPT. If you have not yet subscribed, definitely subscribe. Mash that notification bell. That way you're notified as all the new stuff comes out. But guess what? We got a 30-day ab challenge, man. This is awesome. So we're going to get that core strong over the next 30 days. If you need help and you need to get some ideas on how to modify anything that I'm missing, definitely shoot some comments to me. Put some comments in the comment section, and I'll go ahead and take care of you. I promise. All right? So here we go. We're going to start off with the first exercise in the foundation. So we got the reverse crunch. If you can't do a reverse crunch, it's okay, because I got you. We're going to put your hands under your butt, and what you're going to do is you're going to bring your knees into you, lift your legs up, and lower your legs down as far as you can before you feel like your lower back's going to arch. So it doesn't matter how far you go. Your goal is to just, obviously get to that point where your abs are engaged, and then bring your knees right back in. So lowering those down, breathing out, exhaling on the way down, bringing that back in. If this is even too hard for you, we could do it one leg at a time, all right? So lowering it as low as you can, bringing that leg back in, keeping that lower back driven on the ground. That's a key focus point. If you would watch me train my clients, it's the biggest thing I always talk about is breathing when you're doing abs and keeping your lower back driven into that ground, because that is what's going to help focus on hitting that core. All right. So that would be the supplement for the reverse crunch. So if you're moving on to the next exercise, which is the plank step through. Okay. So there's a couple ways to do this. The plank step through. We're going to plank from your knees, and we're just going to rotate your hips to one side and then the other side. Okay, so planking from your knees and just rotating from one side to the other side. Notice that I'm not up like this in a table form. Like you're in a plank. So as if you were actually in a plank on your toes, you're on a plank on your knees. So you want to be in a good plank position. You're just rotating your hips from side to side. And that's the same thing. You can do that from your toes too if you feel like you can't do the step through motion, just going from your side to side. Also, if that's too difficult for you as well, all you're going to do is either one of these two exercises, which is a windmill windshield wiper, and you're going to take your legs up in the air, knees bent, and you're just going to slowly rotate to one side and then rotate to the other side. Okay? And you want to make sure you keep those arms out, palms flat on the ground. Same thing, focusing on your lower back and just rotating your hips. Too difficult, we'll dummy it down one more notch so that way you can get these basics in, because you're going to progress so fast, I promise. If you do this and you do this for the next 30 days, you're going to be doing all of these exercises right with me, I promise. So did you see that? So I got one leg flat on the ground and just rotating one over and then bringing it back in and rotating it one over. So I'm going to do 10 to each side. All right? So the key thing is sticking with this. I help people progress through all of these ab exercises all the time. Every single day, when new people come in face to face with me or even online, I'm helping them progress. But sometimes you always have to have a starting point. So having to do modifications is not that big of a deal. It's just a matter of getting it in, getting it done, and moving on. So that was our plank step through rotation. The next one is the X-Man. So all we're going to do, instead of the X-Man for modification, is literally a suitcase crunch. Suitcase crunch, you're going to have your feet up, ankles are crossed. If you have a hard time holding your feet up, just placing them on the couch So that way they're just up in the air and it's not letting you drop too low, because the thing is, if you drop down low, see how my back arches up? You don't want your back to arch up. Our goal is to keep that back on the ground. And you're just crunching your upper body up. So it's just nice and slow. See, I'm shaking. It's just a matter of doing a controlled motion and trying to really focus on what you're trying to work. So that would be a tabletop crunch. The other one would be, you can either do this, which would be just a basic standard crunch. Exhaling on the way up. Don't jerk on your head. You're not using your hands to rip your head up. You're just there for support. You can even hold your earlobes. Okay? So just crunching up. That's your basic top half crunch. So just rolling those shoulders up. Moving on to the next one is going to be the side plank. So 2 ways to do this. We're going to do a side jackknife instead. So instead of doing the side plank with the upper rotation, we're just going to do a side jackknife, which is just laying on your side. And you can take your one arm, your bottom arm, and reach it, lay it flat on the ground, out to the side. And you're going to reach up towards your leg, your upper leg. So the leg that's not on the floor. So you're going to come up towards that elbow to knee, just on that one side, crunching up. If you find that that's a little too easy, but you still can't do the plank with the rotation, you're going to come up with both legs. This is the side jackknife. So coming up to both legs. All right, so that would be the modification or replacement for the plank with the upper rotation. And a lot of times, like, it's not even the fact that your abs can't do it. It's just the rotational, push on that shoulder. If you have issues with your shoulders, that's when you would want to do that side jackknife as well. So the next one we're going to roll down into, so that was the side plank. So now we're just the top half crunch rotation. So if you can't hold that top crunch position like this and rotate, you can just sit up into a torso twist, so just leaning back and just twisting side to side. Okay? And if you can't lean back and you're having a hard time, you want to put your legs straight out, put your palms out, and just doing a upper rotation like this. Keeping that spine nice and tall. Your abs are engaged, feeling like you're pulling them in nice and tight, and then just be the top half of rotation. Woo! The modifications for the foundation. All right, so those are the foundational exercises. Those are the ones that you have to complete every day. So we're doing these for 15 minutes. You're going to be starting off with 10 reps of each of them until you feel like pretty comfortable, and you can move on to 15 reps, 20 reps, 25 reps, that type of stuff. So, but we're going to be doing 15 minutes of them, so you are going to be challenged in any aspect. So we're going to move on to the next ones for modifications. So the alt jackknife. So this one I feel like it's just a matter of keeping those legs bent. And if we're supposed to come up to the opposite leg, but you can turn this into a dead bug. So it's going to be just like this. And you're literally coming up. And you're just trying to bring just a little bit. Do you see that little movement right there? You're just reaching those shoulders up to the opposite side and also reaching this hip up. Okay, so this is all we've been doing. It's called a dead bug. But it's moving, Brent. It's not a dead bug. All right, so that would be the modification for the alt jackknife. And for modification for the body saw is just going to be holding a plank. You're going to hold the plank for the 10 seconds. So you would literally sit down there just on your elbows and your knees and just doing a plank. If that's too easy, hold that for 10 seconds. The thing is with the plank, if you can make this so hard, if you concentrate on squeezing every single muscle you have. So think about it, squeezing your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves, your lats, your shoulders, locking it all in and tight and thinking about it and squeezing everything. I'll tell you what, that 10-second plank, you're like, oh, well, I can hold a plank for 5 minutes. Yeah, if you do it right, you shouldn't be able to. So, and same thing, if that plank from the knees is too easy, then just go onto your toes and then hold that, okay? So that would be in place of the body saw. So that would be the next two add-ons. All right, so then after that, we're just moving right along. So we got the add-ons, which would be the knee ins, and also we have the ab wheel. So for the knee ins, you can do just like I said for the foundation. So you want to make sure that your hands are on the floor at some given point, and you can do this in two different manners. So you want to make sure you have the kickstands out, and you're just bringing these in and kicking straight out. You don't want to be kicking like down with them, with your heels, dropping them down. And if that's too hard, you're going to be just doing this with one leg until we can get those abs engaged. Once we get them rocking and rolling, you'll be moving right along, I promise. So we'll be doing those single-legged knee-ins instead. All right? And jot some notes down. If you know you need these modifications, then jot the notes down. Make sure you remember what these are, so that way you can, have your own list right there for you. So you got the single-legged knee-ins. For the ab wheel, so we're just going to do an inchworm. Inchworm, ab wheel. So let's think here. So if we're going to do an inchworm, I'm sure you guys are familiar with these, but so inchworm is just walking out like this to a plank position and then walking straight back. Okay? So walking out, walking back, standing tall. So that would be the inchworm. If the same thing, if you're not doing it because of your shoulders or something along those lines, you can always just do a boat pose. So a boat pose would just be sitting on your butt, and you're literally holding this for the 10 seconds or 15 seconds or 20 seconds, however, whichever week you're in. All right, so the boat pose, legs are out straight. It's a little easier if they're bent. Straight if you want it a little harder. So just holding it like in that motion, and just it's like a reverse plank. So that would be your body saw, or ab wheel, I'm sorry. And then the next one's going to be we got windshield wipers, and I always lose my place. And we've got, really, we're already there? So we got windshield wipers, and I just did the ab wheel. How'd that work? So body saw. What is that then? Oh, the break dancer. So, sorry about that. So we're going to be doing the break dancer. Gosh darn it, man. So instead of the break dancer, you can do those. It's like a grasshopper motion. So we're going to be in a push-up position like this, and just coming towards your opposite elbow. So similar to a mountain climber, but you're just keeping your hands planted. You're not lifting them up as if you're breakdancing. All right. So now we're down all the way to the bottom. So we have the windshield wiper, and we've got the sit-up and the walk up the wall. Crazy. So for the sit-up, we're going to just do the crunch. So it's just going to be, instead of coming all the way up, obviously we want to get that. Your goal is just getting those abs engaged. So getting the abs engaged, sitting up like this. And then for the walk up the wall, I'm still going to challenge you a little bit. We're going to be doing an army crawl. So just crawling forward like this in a plank position and crawling backwards. So you would do that for 10 repetitions. Forward and backward. And it's a lot harder than you would think it would be. So that'd be your army crawl. And that would be instead of your, right there at the bottom, the walk up and down the wall. So it'd be your army crawl. Oh my goodness, it's the afternoon. I just want to get these things over to you guys because I know you're super excited to get this 30-day challenge in. And I know if you need modifications, they're very important. And like I said, if any of those are still too difficult, any of those modifications, just reach out. Hit me up in the comments. I'll shoot you over anything that you guys need so that way you feel like you can participate, because you're making that forward progress, you're making that momentum, that change that you need to make, and I want to make sure that you guys have the right information in front of you so that way you can participate in this. All right, my name is Brent. This is BKPT, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Let's start this challenge.